The first video I did about the Book of Blades for Tales of the Valiant was all about these subclasses for martial classes within the book, arguably the most important part. But I find myself sitting on my couch or in my kitchen flipping through this book more than once this week, and I found a few really interesting things that I want to talk about. So this video is all about new ways to fight, more specifically, battle tactics. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Tarowsk, and today I want to do a second video about the Book of Blades. Now, if you do not know what the Book of Blades is, really shortly, it is a book with all kinds of options for Tales of the Valiant and 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, if you want, for all of the martial classes out there. So the monk, the barbarian, the fighter, the rogue, even the mechanist, which is a Tales of the Valiant character, all get new subclasses, new powers, new stuff added to them, new options basically. And there's one thing in this book that I really like that could add to the game, especially if you're more for that tactical battle grid type of gameplay. This one is really for you. And if you want a little bit more information about this book, make sure to check my video from last week. And here it is, ladies and gentle people, new ways to fight on page 90 of the Book of Blades for Tales of the Valiant. Now, I'm gonna go straight up and tell you this is not for everyone. As a matter of fact, I have groups I would not even present this to, but because I know they would not like this. They would not like me to add even more options to combat, because combat can get pretty damn slow at certain times in Tales of the Valiant or 5th edition or whatever, especially at the higher levels. But on the other side of the medallion, if that's even something people say, I also have groups that would eat this up, that are all for that slower paced tactical battle type of stuff. And those type of groups, which is perfectly fine by the way, those types of groups would eat this stuff up, and I think it is just really well made because it is made with that Kobold press polish, right? It is simple and effective, a simple and effective way of adding battle tactics, maneuvers, that kind of stuff to your game, and actually opening the option up for almost every character, especially like the martial characters. So, battle tactics are special combat tactics honed by veteran warriors, activated with a practiced command or inspiring speech. They bolster allies and undermine foes. A character of any class, they don't say any martial class, they say any class, so even the wizard or whatever can do this. A character of any class can gain access to battle tactics by taking the battle tactician talent. See, martial talents. Oh, you need to be able to grab a martial talent in order to do this, but there's ways as a wizard to actually do that, right? You can use only one battle tactic until you finish a short rest. Important, a short rest. So basically once per encounter, right? Most of the time you do some type of rest between encounters, especially like important encounters. So what they have here is a bunch of these tactics, and this kind of just like really the way this is written and set up really reminds me of 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which is not a bad thing because I am one of those people who actually liked 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons. It didn't feel like classic Dungeons & Dragons, but it was really cool. It was a really cool game in a vacuum, right? So these battle tactics may be chosen by a character who has taken the battle tactician talent. Note that some battle tactics are listed as one action, but the activation includes an attack action as part of that action. Now, without going too deep in it, if you go to the battle tactician part of this book, you can see that you can basically, every time you take that talent, which you can take multiple times, the battle tactician talent, you can choose 3 of these powers that you have, that you own, but you also gain 4 points, tactical points or tactic points or whatever they're called. As you can see, all of these powers, like the example right here, Become the Wall, has a cost, right? This one costs 3 points, 3 points, 4 points, 3 points, 4 points, 2 points, 1 point, 5 points, that kind of stuff. It has an activation time, so you have 4 points to use, right? But you also have 3 of these, so you cannot use all of these at will whenever you want. You have a point system, which is really simple. You have 4 points, bam, that's it, right? And you have 3 battle tactics every time you take the tactician talent. Then it's set up really simply. It has a cost, it has an activation time. This one has a activation time of 1 action. It has a range, this one is self, and it has a duration, 1 minute. So just for this example, And then goes into just like a spell, basically. Creatures that use this engage action still provoke opportunity attacks from you. If you use your reaction during your turn, you gain an additional reaction that you can use until the start of your next turn. When this tactic is active, you can gain only one additional reaction from any source. So, basically, for 1 minute, you cast this on yourself, costs you 3 points and takes you 1 action. When creatures take the disengage action, they still provoke opportunity attacks from you. So the moment you cast this or you use this, whatever, you spend an action. So you can't attack, you can't do anything. But maybe you're standing like within the vicinity of like 3 creatures you don't want to escape, right? And you're just standing there and you're like, I'm not here to murder them outright. I just want them to not be able to run away. So you use this. You don't attack them at first, but you use this in order for them to not easily escape from you, because they will provoke attack of opportunities from you. And every time you use a reaction within your turn, you gain an additional reaction that you can actually use as a reaction. And there is a bunch of these. Bite and hold offensive, right? For the duration, you have advantage on attacks against grappled targets. In addition, creatures your size or smaller that you grapple are restrained. So your allies also have advantage on attacks against grappled targets that you grapple. There's clip tear wings. This is like a very situational one, but I like it. You bellow an order, urging your allies into a practiced drill against aerial combatants. For the duration, when allies within range attack a target moving with its flying speed, they gain advantage on ranged attacks and don't have disadvantage on ranged attacks made beyond normal range. For the duration, basically all attacks against flying creatures have advantage, and they don't get disadvantage beyond normal range, which is really, really, really powerful for an entire party to have that, because they say ranged attacks, which is like spells are also ranged attacks. Like, I don't know, there's spells like Fire Bolt or whatever. It's a ranged attack, right? So that counts. Bows and arrows count, guns count, freaking fling count, throwing a freaking rock counts. Throwing a rock with advantage is just something you can do in D&D, which is great, right? So it's super situational, costs you 3 points, ranges 30 feet, and at duration 1 minute. Really, really, really cool. The moment you cast it, you use it, your action is gone, you cannot attack in your turn, but all your allies can attack with advantage, which is crazy, right? This one I like as well, Combat Medicine. You take a moment to patch an ally's wounds and apply stimulating medicine, allowing them to draw on their own reserves to stay in the fight. The target may spend a number of hit dice up to your proficiency bonus to recover hit points as if they had just completed a short rest. This type of stuff is always, I find this always really cool, especially since it only costs 2 points. I have always found the idea of creating a combat medic that doesn't use magic in order to be a combat medic, if you know what I mean. I've always liked that idea, and this kind of allows that, where you can play a fighter, but this fighter, just like any soldier in today's day and age, any soldier is trained in at least basic first aid, right? But there's also soldiers in every squad that are a little bit more trained in first aid, and they're like the aid men or the medics or whatever the equivalent is in whatever country you're in, which you can play with this, right? You can literally take this take this feat you need to get these powers. You can take that 2 times, right? So you then have 8 points. So this only costs you 2 points. So you, like, even when you take the feat at first as a fighter, you can do this 2 times per short rest, right? So that's really, really cool. I like that. And it doesn't spend your hit dice, so it's still up to the other player to see how much they want to heal. I love it. I love like playing a fighter or somebody with a crossbow just going from person to person trying to patch them up and then shooting an arrow and then, sorry, a bolt, and then patching another ally up, shooting a bolt, that kind of stuff. Yeah, especially together with a good like medicine score and maybe some healing potions to hand out here and there. Yeah, that could be really, really cool to play one of those, just like a medic, just like a combat medic. Play a combat medic. Whatever. What else is there? Do as I do methodology. Haven't read this yet. Do as I do methodology. Activation time 10 minutes. Costs 4 points. Duration 8 hours. Okay. A quick demonstration and some coaching can protect your allies as thoroughly as any ward. Choose one save and the number of allied creatures within range. When any of those creatures make that save within 30 feet of you, they may use your bonus for that save instead of their own. This effect ends if you take a short or long rest. That's the kind of game design I like from Kobold Press. They really think about that action to action kind of gameplay where you're like, oh, I spend one action to do this and I spend half an action to do this. It's just good. But they also think about like your downtime and using those more overarching abilities more, but also for combat. This is really cool, the do as I methodology, where you kind of show people how to effectively duck away from falling boulders. And then for 8 hours straight, they get your score on their dex. If you have a high dex score. So they are better at moving away from boulders because you spent 10 minutes actually teaching them like the right moves. I like that. Really liked it. There's Endure Pain, Convergent Onslaught, Combat Medicine, we said that. Expose Weakness, always something that is really cool. Failure is Death. Guardian's Glare, Hammer and Anvil Method, Into the Breach. Invulnerable Invitation. There's a lot of these. That's what I like about there. There's so much. Yeah. As part of your melee weapon attack against a creature your size smaller, blah, 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 blah. Push them back. There was one more really cool one that I saw here that I cannot really find right now, but it's basically... There's one in here where if everybody has like an ongoing, like everybody who has an ongoing effect on them that allows saves, when you use the ability, they actually get to make another save. Like in your turn, they all get to make that extra save. So let's say everybody is poisoned. Stupid example, but the entire party is poisoned. They all roll against the poison to save from the poison, and they all fail. They're still poisoned. In your turn, you can then cast this thing, do this thing, and they all get to roll again for that poison. Maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 1 player make that check, which really, really helps the party in the long run. And that is the kind of stuff that I'm really, really liking from the Book of Blades for Tales of the Valiant. Now, a lot of this stuff you can also translate to 5th edition really easily. It's basically just plug and play for 5th edition. I like that. Still, this book is one of my favorite books of this year by Kobold Press. Maybe my favorite book of the year by Kobold Press. It will only set you back $30, and if you click the link in the description below, it is an affiliate link. I get a few bucks, well, a few dollar cents from that, from every sale you do through that link. Even if you click that link and you buy anything else from their website, I get a few bucks. So if you want to help me out and you're buying books from Kobold Press, make sure to click that link in the description below. And until next video, bye-bye.